So map embeds can show up in some pretty interesting places. Here on Home Depot, you see if you want to set your store, they're popping in a map right in your face. Is that a good idea or a bad idea? They've also got it on their PDP if you go down and you want to set your pickup. It's another touch point where this might be embedded as a drawer on your site, or check nearby stores. They're actually using a different pattern here, and you can see they're doing a little bit of an inventory lookup. But they've got a map view tab, which again is invoking a Bing map, and that's interactive. So, does this have any impact on performance?
For sure. Maps are a heavy use case. You're loading JavaScript first to power the thing, a lot of imagery for all the, background and graphics. There's geolocation in the browser, either via IP or via, GPS if you're on mobile. So yeah, mapping can be a heavy use case. I typically in this pattern, I like to talk to designers and talk to UX teams about whether they need to use a map to satisfy the main goal here. In sort of this store lookup situation, yeah, Home Depot uses a map, but there's not a whole lot I can do with this. I can't like it. This is useless. I think an image of a map would be fine here instead, but also just taking it out would be fine. Scrolling down, I can use my current location to find maps. There's one near me. And so this is working fine, but this now isn't really using a mapping interface anymore. So this is a little better. You'd found another example of this on Lowe's, Linda, where if I hit the drop down here, it'll allow me to, use my location. I can look up stores, but there's no mapping associated with this. It'll use where I am today. It'll tell me what the stores are, allow me to do all of the things I need to do to interact with the store near me and find a store near me without having to pay that performance penalty of loading the JavaScript and mapping application behind the scenes. In the store lookup situation here, to your point, it's a tab, like it's already a secondary sort of experience. And so there was probably some data that went into whether this is a list of stores or the map view. You can see the additional lag in loading the map view. Honestly, my recommendation here is typically aim for not needing a map. You're paying the performance penalty, but you're also going to be paying Bing or Google for the embeds of the map, for the calls to their APIs. I don't know if this is even usable. What am I going to do with this? I'm going to explore the entire United States of America to find a store that has this in it where I could pick it up, or would I rather just, use something like this?
This is what it looks like on mobile too, and as you can imagine, it's taking up the whole screen. This is an above the fold situation where the map has now buried and pushed the real utility, which is the text lookup. So if we scroll down a little bit, there we see what the real utility is, and all of the, the top four locations in the miles and distance from you, which is actually helpful. And the ability to set this as your store that you want to shop is just buried. So even from a UX standpoint, it's hard for me to justify that you want to push a map in there anyway.
I think if you do want to drive users to get to that location and give them the ability to shop that location, I like the way Lowe's does it here, where I can click to get directions. And now I'm using native Google Maps. Thinking on mobile as well, I'm sure we've all tried to navigate a map embedded in a website in your browser, and it's just infuriating. There's a lot better solutions to this now that I have loaded Google Maps via that link on the Lowe's website. I can just click driving. It knows where I am. It knows how I want to get there. A mapping and navigating use case is very much, I'm out in the wild. I'm on my phone. I'm trying to get somewhere. This isn't like I'm sitting down and printing out MapQuest paper instructions like it's 2001.
So if we look at the Yoda Web Performance Index, which actually tracks the percent adoption and also sort of the performance impact rating there, which you can see yellow is kind of middle of the road impact on performance. Bing Maps is actually a heavier load than a lot of your third-party apps. And so you do want to be disciplined in where you embed it. You're probably going to need something solution for your store locator, which we're going to have separate video on. But yeah, just be aware that if you're choosing Bing Maps over Google Maps for whatever reason, you will pay a performance penalty if you start sticking it in touch points where it doesn't need to be.
Like here.
It's like that.